today I'm going to be painting some Halloween pebbles. Simple, fun designs just on some rocks or pebbles. These I picked up from a local DIY store, but you may have something in the garden that's suitable. Really simple to do with some paint pens and a bit of varnish. So I'm going to clear these out of the way and I'll come back and we'll get on with the project. So to begin with, let's run through what materials you're going to need for this project. Obviously you're going to need some rocks or pebbles. These are just assorted shapes and sizes. I got these from a local DIY store, a bag of garden cobbles, and I've just washed them, got rid of all the dust and dirt off them and dried them. Just chosen a selection of assorted shapes. You're going to want some acrylic paint. Today I'm using Decoupage Americana paint, and as I say, I've got a selection of Halloween colours here. This is mainly just going to be for the base coats on the pebbles, because the detail I'm going to be using some Posca paint pens, and I've got a selection of different coloured Posca paint pens here. They come in different nib sizes, different colours, and they're so much easier for doing your detail work. If you haven't got those, you've just got paint. You can put your detail on with the paint and a fine paintbrush. I just find it far more convenient to use a paint pen. It's just got like a felt tip end, and it's much easier. If you've got a steady hand, you'll be fine with a paintbrush. And as I say, the paint that I'm using today is mainly going to be for the base coats, and I'm going to do pretty much all the detail with the paint pens. So I've got white and black. The colours that I've got here are light mocha, cadmium yellow, bright orange and sour apple. But any brand acrylic paint will do. And once this is all finished and dried, you're going to want to put some varnish on to protect them. Now be aware, if you're using Posca paint pens, they can react to certain varnishes, and Posca will always recommend that you use something water-based. So I've found that using this is Americana Decoupage Dishwasher Safe Sealer. It's like a Mod Podge, it's a different brand, Mod Podge. Again, they do a dishwasher safe one, which is going to be waterproof and weatherproof. It's completely water-based, so it will not smear any colour. It doesn't dry particularly shiny, so I tend to put a coat of this on, let it dry, that seals my paint pens, and then I can go over with an artist's varnish afterwards if I want a nice shiny glossy finish. But some of these sort of solvent-based varnishes do react with some colours of Posca paint pen and can make it run. And you don't want to spoil your work at all. If in doubt, try the paint pens on an old rock or a scrap of paper and apply some varnish over the top and see if you're going to get a reaction. But as I say, I found my best bet with what I've got here is to use a layer of this Americana Decoupage Dishwasher Safe Sealer, and I use that, and then I can go over it with another varnish afterwards once that's dry. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I'm going to make a start on doing a base coat. I have some ideas in mind of what I want to do on the various pebbles, so I know which colours I want to use. So I should probably speed it up a little bit, put some music on while I'm doing it, and then I'll come back and explain what I'm going to do next. Now that the base coats are all done, and as you can see, I've done either 2 or 3 coats depending on the colour of the paint. Some cover better than others. I mean, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because there's going to be detail on, so some of these are still very slightly patchy, and some colours really just cover very well. But now it's time for the fun part. So I've got my Posca pans and we can start adding in the detail. Now, if you're not confident, you can always sort of sketch this out on a piece of paper and then possibly rough it in with a pencil. I'm happy to just go straight in. I have some ideas sketched on a piece of paper and I'm pretty confident about just going, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm happy to just go straight in with these paint pens. If the worst comes to the worst, you could probably use a little wet tissue paper or a cotton bud and just sort of wipe off any mistakes, or indeed just paint over again if you weren't entirely happy with it. As always with paint pens, give them a good shake to start with to make sure that the paint in there is mixed up, and then you can just draw on whatever design it is that you've decided to use. And there we have 2 Jack Skellingtons. Really simple design to do there. As long as you sort of make his eyes a sort of triangular shape, 2 little teardrops for his nose, and then a wavy line for his mouth, you can't really go wrong at all with that. Next, I'm going to do the candy canes. And these I painted in 3 stripes of colour. I'm going to just use the black pen to distinguish between the 3 lines and draw some features on. Next up are these, which are going to be pumpkins, and for this we're going to add a little bit more detail, try and get some shading to make them look a little bit more like pumpkins, draw some leaves on the top and a little pumpkin face on the front. So there's our pumpkins. I'm undecided. I may put the stripes around the back as well. We'll see, but for now I'm just going to leave them like so. And the reason that I'm doing 2 of everything is just to show, you know, no matter what shape your pebble, work with the shape of it, and you know, you're going to get something with some character each time. Next, we're going to move on to our green pebbles, which these are going to become Frankenstein's monster. So we're going to draw some hair and then draw his face on there. Again, it's all going to be quite simple, nothing too complicated here. That we're doing today are going to be mummy heads. So I've painted them this like buff colour, and that's going to be the bandages, so we've got to put the detail of the bandages and some eyes on. So there's our design, sort of, there's all the painting done. I'm going to go ahead and give everything a coat of this water-based sealer, the Americana Decoupage. I'm going to use that. And once that's dry, I'm then going to give a couple of coats of a gloss varnish just to keep it nice, make it nice and shiny and keep it weatherproof so these can go outside. And here we are with the finished painted Halloween pebbles. As you can see, they've all got a nice shiny coat of varnish on, which should protect them from knocks and bumps and the elements. And I hope that you can also see that you don't need to go to any great complicated lengths. If you work with the shape of the stone that you've got and some simple ideas, you can get some really fun and effective designs. I'm really happy with how these have turned out. You know, they're fun, and they've just really just put a smile on my face making them. All in all, it's probably taken a few hours. Obviously the varnish needs time to dry. I may go back tomorrow and give them another coat just to be sure, but I mean I'm pretty sure they've had 2 light coats of varnish and they look pretty well covered to me, so I'm quite happy with them. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope that you've had a few ideas to maybe join in the fun of painting pebbles, which seems to be very popular at the moment. As always, if you enjoyed it, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be back again next week with another video. But for now, that's all. Bye.